Good morning, everybody. I'm Secretary of Transportation Tim Gatz, and we are so honored to be here this morning. And I'm going to introduce some very special guests with Pack 66 Cub Scouts from Veneta, and they're going to bring in our colors right now, and we'll follow that up with a national anthem from the Ketchum High School Band and Choir. So get us started this morning and recognize Pack 66. Thank you.
Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, post your colors. Oh. Color guard, post your colors. Everyone, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Scout Law. Oath.
On my honor, I
On
will do
my best to do my duty
to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Please join me in the Scout Law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
Thanks to Cub Scout Pack 66 for the presentation of the colors, and to Ketchum High School Choir and Band. What a fantastic morning it is. We're going to move back into the hangar now for the rest of the program, so thank you. Good morning, everybody, and I want to tell you how honored and privileged I am to be here with you this morning to recognize some pretty phenomenal accomplishments right here at South Grand Lake Airport. And one of the ways I want to acknowledge that is to give you a little bit of perspective from a guy that's a rubber tire guy. I do a lot of traveling around the state in a vehicle, but I want to tell you what general aviation makes possible in the state of Oklahoma. And part of that is something that we were able to accomplish this morning. We needed to make a stop in Tulsa at District 8, have a little bit of a conversation with our folks there before we came on up to South Grand Lake Airport. And general aviation airports in aerospace and the efforts of the Aeronautics Commission and the leadership of our legislators and our senior senator are what makes things like that possible. We've got to have this type of infrastructure available across the state of Oklahoma to make that happen, to make our economy go, to support our communities. And again, the possibilities that we have because of those efforts over a long time are endless. So, pleasure to be here this morning. I get to be the one that makes some really significant introductions. And I'm going to start off with a gentleman that I've known for a long time, and somebody that I will tell you without hesitation has done more for infrastructure, aerospace, aviation, aeronautics, roads and bridges, and not only that, but the United States military than anybody I know. And for that, we are going to be eternally grateful. And I want to tell you, played a significant role that he may tell you a little bit about this morning with the development of this particular airport. So with that, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our senior senator, Senator Jim Inhofe.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Don't leave, Vic. Okay, you guys, why don't you all come and sit down? I've got a 2-hour speech, and you're going to have, come on, hurry. Come in, sit down. I'm not talking to you. Come in and sit down. Don't just giggle. Okay, yeah, let me just back up a little bit, because a lot of people don't know the real history of this Vic Bird, and that is, I always time it because my wife and I have been married 61 years, and it was that first year that we found this little spot out here that had a pretty level ground out here, and I wanted a place to land an airplane, and so we came out with my tractor and mowed everything down, smoothed it out, and put a pole barn up on where I could put my planes in, and parked a trailer, thinking that we might get somebody out here to provide a little security. And so that's what started 60 years ago. And look at it today. It's really great. And I can remember that we put big white tires on each end of the runway. Of course, it was just a dirt runway. And that was that was our night landing system. So you could see the towers from a long ways away. So we've had a lot of fun with this, and aviation is a huge thing in Oklahoma. I remember when I was mayor of Tulsa. See, I have to tell you, Dan, I had a hard job once. There's no harder job in the world. I mean, you know, if they don't like the trash system, ends up in your front yard, and it did. And but nonetheless, during that time frame, I put together some statistics that only I believed that we were the aviation capital of the world. That sounded real good to me. Nobody else believed it. But we're talking about all the efforts that we had in our 5 establishments that we have in the state of Oklahoma, and all the things that we've done, and aviation has been a big thing. I've always enjoyed. Now that's Charles Sublett back there. He's the one, and Bruce was in the other plane. Is that right, Charles? Yeah. Well, stand up and give him a big thank you. They're our warboards. But I have to say this to you, Charles. You came by pretty fast, but I cut that ribbon a lot faster. Well, yeah. That's right. Anyway, a lot of really good things have happened, and yeah, we're excited about this. People who really like aviation also like the military right now, and I don't say this in a partisan way, but there's if you haven't noticed, there's a change in leadership in the United States Senate. We're now a minority instead of majority, and I want you to enjoy that because it's only going to last for a year and a half. And so then I'll be the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and we'll start rebuilding what they tear down. So good things are going to happen there, and I'm excited about it. In fact, I'm giving a talk tomorrow in Oklahoma City. It's the annual the annual meeting of the Republican Party over there, and talking a little bit about some of the really good things that are happening. Believe it or not, good things are happening. They really are. I mean, I look and I see. And I don't say this in a despairing way, but you might remember that my opponent this last time was a gal, I don't remember her name, but she was a beauty. Wasn't she only, 30 years old? And she's beautiful. What was her name? Abby Burrows, yeah. She was my opponent this last time. And so my big problem was, I'm 68 years old, and she was 30 years old. And that got someone's attention. So her whole race was that I'm too old to be in the United States Senate. And my response was, when I can no longer fly an airplane upside down, then I'm too old to be in the United States Senate. And so I announced, in my announcement for re-election, I actually announced upside down. Some of you may remember that. Anyway, so that happened, and it's really funny because that gal, I had said during the campaign, I said, you're a talented person, you're beautiful, you're young, you could probably run for office, but not in the state of Oklahoma. You'd be great out in California. Guess where she is today? She's out in California. That's right, it worked. So anyway, some good things are happening right now. We're going to have a good year coming up, and you'll see a lot of good things happening. And here in the state, Vic Bird here no longer has the position that he had for, I don't remember how many years. In fact, you were in there so long, I never could remember whether it was a Republican or a Democrat governor that originally appointed you. I think it was Henry Bellman, wasn't it?
But maybe Frank Keating.
Okay. But anyway, Vic and I fly around to all these airports and let people know how important these airports are, general aviation, and so good things are happening. Good job, all you guys, what you've done here at Ketchum International, and good years are coming. All right? Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Inhofe, and we are so appreciative of everything that you do for the state of Oklahoma and for your leadership in Washington, D.C., especially right now. So, I have the honor this morning of introducing our next speaker, who just happens to be the Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, Charles McCall. And I'll tell you without hesitation again, Speaker McCall has a unique advocacy for infrastructure investment in the state of Oklahoma to make sure that we can continue to make progress for our future. And he has a special appreciation for general aviation airports. He flies a very unique aircraft that you may have seen out here. And again, somebody who in a high level of detail understands how important this type of infrastructure is to Oklahoma's ability to make progress, to South Grand Lake's ability to continue to do all of the things that you do every day to bring people to this area and to keep our economy strongly. So with that, Mr. Speaker, please join me at the microphone.
Thank you, Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here with you today. It's really an impressive facility. I get to travel across the state in this role, serving in the House of Representatives with some great other men and women at the state level. And it's just an honor to be able to serve here in the state of Oklahoma and serve with people, my colleagues. Representative Rusty Cornwell's here today, serves this district. He's providing tremendous leadership in the state of Oklahoma. His neighbor and our other colleague, Representative Josh West, who's our majority leader in the House, has been a tremendous asset to the people of the state of Oklahoma, as well as this part of the northeast part of Oklahoma. Now, I've got to take a moment to say that Senator Inhofe has been such a great senator for the state of Oklahoma. He was way too humble in his comments today. Ladies and gentlemen, these projects don't happen without support from the federal level. And Senator Jim Inhofe has been a champion for the state of Oklahoma and for aviation in the state of Oklahoma. And I'd like you to recognize him one more time. And you will not ever catch me flying upside down, Senator. That's impressive, though. Ladies and gentlemen, these projects bring so much opportunity for the state of Oklahoma, and especially to the rural parts of the state. I'm a rural person in the state. I live in Atoka, Oklahoma. We are super envious of projects like this. We'd love to have this facility in Atoka. But kudos to you. Congratulations. These projects don't happen overnight. It takes a concerted effort at the local level, the state, and the federal level to see these projects come together. Just amazing to me to read the background on where we are today with this project. Starting out with a grass strip here, and now you're over 5,000 runway feet at this facility. Great accomplishment. You can support all kinds of aircraft here for business purpose, for the tourism that is such a big driver in this part of the state's economy. But without cooperation, without working together, and without perseverance, these things don't happen. And the fine men and women at the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, thank you for all that you do. And we also thank Secretary Gatz, Department of Transportation. It is a cooperative effort. And these things don't happen without everybody pulling together. This facility will benefit Northeast Oklahoma and the state and the surrounding area for years to come. It's taken a long time to get here, but continue to build on it. You have a great foundation here, and you are going to continue you will continue to experience greater growth that you've already experienced. But congratulations to all of your efforts and seeing this project through to fruition. It is truly amazing. I'm honored to be a part of it today and to say a few words. Very impressive, and I'm very, very happy for you. Thank you for having me today. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've got the honor to introduce another friend. He is in the Oklahoma State Senate, and he is somebody that I know very well and that I've worked with for many years because he happens to be not just your senator in this area, but also the vice chair of our Transportation Committee in the State Senate. So it's a great honor this morning to bring up Senator Michael Bergstrom. So, Senator.
I am, well, first of all, I'm honored to be here to speak at this, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I appreciate Senator Inhofe and all that you've done here. But I'm going to focus a little more on some of the local folks as I speak. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had and by the way, I wrote mine out because I'm not as eloquent as everyone else. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had the privilege of working with Brent Howard, this gentleman right here.
We flew together. Did you know that?
Did you?
Yeah, we did. He's that old.
Well, he told me that you had a long friendship. I just didn't know it went that far back.
Long before
Yeah.
you were.
Oh, yes. Well, anyway, I've had this opportunity to work with Brent on finding ways to help improve and expand the South Grand Lake Regional Airport. I was able to stand before the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission to support the airport's request for an Aeronautics Commission to partner with them in matching funding for this particular project, and then watch as the board wisely voted unanimously to do so. I've been in many meetings where we've looked at ways to even further expand and improve this airport and bring industry to this area. As you heard today, aviation's a huge industry. In Oklahoma, it's our second largest industry, and it's growing. And that means that the potential for growth here at this airport and in Ketchum, not only for the airport itself, but for business growth and expansion, is incredible. You couple that with the other great things that we have in this region, our history, the tourism, Grand Lake itself, and Lake Hudson down a little further, and the potential for economic development in this area for the bringing in of good jobs is tremendous. What I've seen and come to understand over the last few years, that it's remarkable how this airport has gone from a great idea to a state-of-the-art regional airport in less than 2 decades. Not only is it a quality transportation hub, but with its existing infrastructure, things like high-speed broadband services, the South Grand Lake Regional Airport is primed to help current businesses expand and new businesses to make a home here in Ketchum and in the area around here. That's going to mean more jobs. And this is because of the commitment, the dedication of a group of locals, as well as the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, and especially its former director, Victor Byrd, who I had the pleasure of getting to know over the last few years. And to the vision, their vision of building a facility that would meet not only the needs of 2 decades ago, but of the future. I can tell you that wherever I speak with a business leader or an economic development person who might possibly be interested in looking for a new home or a place to expand, this airport is one of the things that I point to. I can tell you that it's not been at all uncommon for me to be talking with somebody, and I'll ask them the question, what do you know about the Ketchum Airport, South Grand Lake Regional Airport? And they go, never heard of it. I go, oh, let me tell you about that. And then I'll pull out my phone and pull up the website. So many people have no idea that this jewel even exists. And we need to take and find ways to let them know about it so we can get them to bring business here and bring growth here for this community and this region. So why is it that I can do that? It's because of the hard work and persistence of folks like Brent Howard, Senator Inhofe, and all the volunteer members of the Airport Trust who over the last 15 years have managed to raise over $1 million in cash contributions, and half that again in in-kind contributions here in this small community. Now, I challenge you to look across the rest of the state or even much of the nation and see if you can find that where that's been accomplished in a small town like this. To those who've worked so hard and done so much to get us to where this airport is today, to have laid the groundwork for untold opportunities in the not-so-distant future for Ketchum in this region, we owe you a debt of thanks. And I can't wait to see what's coming next because of their dedication and hard work. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Senator Bergstrom. And I want to add a little bit of emphasis to some words that we've heard this morning, like vision and opportunity. And I want to emphasize how important it is to have a vision like Senator Inhofe and Brent Howard to get this started. And then I want to thank all of you who have been a part of making this happen for what you've done to get here where we are today. Because what this is really about is opportunity. It's opportunity for that Cub Scout pack that we welcomed to present our colors, and for that high school band and choir that we heard sing our national anthem to live here, grow here, and have opportunities to stay right here in Oklahoma to make us stronger for our future. That's what this is really about. So again, I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored also at this particular moment in the program to make another introduction and invite Representative Rusty Cornwell to the microphone to make a few remarks. Representative.
Thanks, sir. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the greatest district in the state of Oklahoma, District 6. Speaker McCall might argue with me a little bit, but I think we've had this conversation before. He said, I never argue when I'm standing in somebody else's district. So we'll probably have that argument a little later on, I imagine. But they give me some talking points, and I'm a country boy, and I would probably just mess those talking points up. So I'm gonna talk on a more personal level. My house is only just a few miles from here, so been there for about 30 years. So I've got to see this airport change over the last couple of decades. And I'll be honest with you, my wife and I always owned some businesses there in Veneta. And the first time that I heard somebody say that they were going to put a airport in Ketchum to kind of serve South Grand Lake and the region, I'm thinking, well, we've got an airport in Veneta and we've got an airport over at Monkey Island. And I'm thinking, man, that's just not going to work. There's just no need for an airport at Ketchum. But obviously some people that was much smarter than me and could see what the vision, how they could grow here, the opportunity to grow here, continued on. People like Senator Inhofe and Mr. Howard, Mr. Sullivan, they all, and I know there's many, many more volunteers. They've all volunteered their time and had a vision to get this airport where it is today. And I would have never dreamed that they would have been able to bring it to what they've brought it to today as quickly as they have. And I can tell you, my wife and I still own a facility here in Craig County, and we have clients that on occasions will fly in, and they Ketchum is where they fly into, because I didn't realize, I'm not an aeronautics guy, so I didn't know all the ins and outs of it. But apparently the other runways around here was not going to allow them to either land or take off, and so a lot of my clients use this particular facility, which helps out my little establishment that I have here in Craig County. So I know if it helps my place out, I know it's really helping out a lot of these bigger businesses, and it's a great economic driver. And again, I'm happy to see so many people that showed up and so many people that's worked so hard on this, and I give them kudos for all the hard work and not taking no for an answer. They just continue to push on, and I appreciate everybody, and thank you again for having me here. I'm honored.
Thank you, Representative Cornwell, and I want to emphasize to everybody in this building how fortunate you are to have the representation that you do at Oklahoma State Capitol, because these gentlemen do a tremendous job for you. They represent you exceptionally well. Both of them have my cell phone number on speed dial, and I can assure you they use it. So, but that's what they need to be doing. That's how they communicate on all issues transportation. So again, you're so very well represented here, and I thank them for their service. They've got a very, very tough job. So I want to talk a little bit about Brent Howard. And I was a little bit amused because this is the first time I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Howard, and Jack Damrell, who's with us. And thanks to Jack and the aeronautics folks for helping us put this event together, and all the people that are on the Turnpike staff, ODOT staff, aeronautics staff that have been a part of this to make it happen. We really appreciate what y'all do for us every day. But as I was talking to Jack, he said, Mr. Howard, what exactly is your title? And it took Brent for a minute, and he said, well, I'm kind of the chairman of the board. I'm kind of the manager of the airport, and I'm pretty sure that he is the chief of GSD. And GSD is getting stuff done. So I understand that very, very clearly. And Mr. Howard, it takes folks like you and perseverance to make something like this happen and keep it going. So we appreciate you so much. So. Now, without further ado, on behalf of Governor Kevin Stitt and the Transportation Cabinet, I want to make an introduction here and give a person an opportunity to make a few comments. And he's pretty special. He is trained and tutored under another person that's very special that I know has been a big part of this, former Aeronautics Commission Director Vic Byrd. Vic, we thank you so much for all that you've done for aerospace and aviation in Oklahoma over the term of your career. I thank you in particular for training this gentleman so well and bringing him into the role that he serves in now. So without further ado, I want to make a special introduction, make a special thank you to the Aeronautics Commission and the Aeronautics Commission Director, Grayson Arties. Grayson.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, thank you for those kind words. They call me the new and improved Vic Byrd, or the Vic Byrd with hair, as they might say. And see, I get to say that now because he's no longer my boss. I couldn't have said that back when I worked underneath him. We have an opportunity today. This we have seen all different kinds and facets of aviation. We saw military aviation, albeit retired military aviation. We saw business aviation, turboprop aircraft and jet aircraft. We've seen recreational aviation, Senator Inhofe and his RV-8. This airport represents all different forms and facets of aviation. And this is a story, as you've heard today, that is not repeated anywhere across the state and probably not repeated anywhere across the country. Most airports can tie their lineage back to a World War II facility or having constructed their paved runway back in the 50s, 60s, or 70s. This airport paved runway just happened in 2007, 2008. That was the first time this airport was paved. And it was thanks to a lot of the folks that you've heard about today, the leadership of the state, the legislature, the governors that have been supportive of this particular airport, and Mr. Brent Howard, and also the people that have helped Brent Howard over the years. So if I could have all the board members, current and past, stand up or wave your hand, let's give a round of applause to those board members right here sitting with us today. That group of volunteers makes this airport go. There is no full-time staff out here, and they all share in the load. Some of them are mowers, some of them are fuelers, some of them are the GSD folks, Mr. Secretary, that you were talking about, and just know how to get stuff done on this airport. But it really is a heartwarming story of a grassroots effort of general aviation. You don't see that too many more these days in the aviation world. This is a really cool gem right here in Northeast Oklahoma. The runway we're celebrating today is thanks to a $4.6 million project that started off in discussions with former Director Byrd, myself, and a few other staff members at the Aeronautics Commission in probably the 2012-2013 timeframe. We knew the runway that was built in 2007 was built on a shoestring budget. We got almost 5,000 foot of pavement down for less than $300,000, Brent? Does that sound about right? Can't get a mile of highway done for that. I don't know if we can get a mile for anything done with that kind of price these days anymore. I wish we could. We could build a lot more runways, but it was really a great project. We finally approved it in 2019, opened it several months ago in the wintertime, and I don't know if anybody's been out on the runway. For the pilots that have, obviously you've landed and taken off on the runway. But that's a great runway. That is something to be really proud of for this local community. And as we say, you know, success breeds success. That $4.6 million project has put you all on the map. There's another $4.5 million project coming down the pike for more pavement at this airport. This airport is growing. It's going to continue to grow well into the future for the pack that we had. I hope some of those young kids are going to become aviators. I hope that we're introducing aviation and curriculum into the classroom here in Ketchum and the South Grand Lake communities. If not, let us know. We'd be happy to do so at the Aeronautics Commission. We'd be happy to make those introductions. We must preserve aviation by getting our young people excited about the state's second largest industry in aviation aerospace. $44 billion of annual economic activity for the state right here in Oklahoma. Just below oil and gas, just ahead of agriculture. And workforce is our top need in aviation aerospace. We must create interest in our young folks to go take these jobs, really good paying jobs, $73,000 annual average salary for a worker in the aviation aerospace industry. I know that may not sound anything to the kids in the room, but all the parents' ears perked up right there and said, hey, those are good jobs. Yeah, we need to send you to those as soon as you get off my house at 18 years old. We need to send you into the aviation aerospace arena. But at the end of the day, this is a heartwarming story. This is a story that I hope you all can tell. Because you're here today and you support the airport, you're all designated air evangelists today. You're a true air evangelist. You have to go out and preach the good word of aviation aerospace and what this airport means to this community and what this industry means to our great state. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you allowing me to have a few remarks today. And I know I'm probably standing between you, cake and punch, a ribbon cutting, and probably a great weekend at the lake. I think it's going to be pretty awesome out there. So let's go experience that. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
I've just been informed by my staff that I don't look very dignified. And so I do apologize for that. But when you're cutting a ribbon at 215 miles an hour, you got to dress for it. Okay?
All right. Senator, thank you. And Vic, listening to Grayson visit, what's the term, air evangelist? So I believe, again, that you have done a fantastic job. Grayson is laser focused on making aviation aerospace in Oklahoma better than it's ever been. Oklahoma, I will tell you again without hesitation, does this. New runways, new hangar, infrastructure out there, roads, bridges, and highways, better than any other state in the country. And I will tell you that without hesitation. Why is that? I can tell you where it starts, and it starts with leadership like we see right here behind me. Leadership from Senator Inhofe and leadership from our elected officials at the Capitol. That's where it starts. But you know what it takes to support it? It takes you. It takes your involvement. It takes your vision for the future, because we make this state what we want it to be by all of our combined efforts. So again, I thank you so much for what you've created here, and we really, really look forward to the future for South Grand Lake Airport and all of the things that's going to happen in this area. So thank you so much for coming. We're about to take a step out here and cut a ribbon on something really special. So with that, Jack, I think we're at the point in the program where we're going to walk out here and get a piece of a ribbon. So thank you so much.
Well, we didn't get finished today.
They couldn't pick a better time to start in life.
It ain't too early and it ain't too late. Starting as a farmer with a brand new wife.
Soon be living in a brand new state.
Brand new state, Gonna treat you great. Gonna give you barley, carrots, and potatoes, pasture for the cattle, spinach and tomatoes.
Flowers on the prairie where the June bugs zoom. Plenty of air and plenty of room.
Plenty of room to swing a rope.
Plenty of heart and plenty of hope.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oklahoma, every night my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, hi-yi-bi-yo-yay, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay. Oklahoma, 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 Oklahoma. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, hi-yi-bi-yo-yay, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma,